It is the fourth day of Magu'S story. I mean the AFCC boss, Magu, who was indicted, who was investigated, detained for some allegations leveled against him. All right, it's another edition of Bystanders at Newsstands on Flip TV. Let's quickly move down to what we have on the front page of the Vanguard newspaper. The major headline, it reads, Day 4, panel grills, Magu'S 7 untouchables. Day 4, panel grills, Magu'S 7 untouchables. 7 untouchables accused of blackmail, extortion of money from suspects, appropriating exhibits, selling off forfeited, seized assets. 7 untouchables accused of blackmail, extortion of money from suspects, appropriating exhibits, selling of forfeited, seized assets. On to the next one. Asked to explain role in exploits of AG EFCC chairman. Asked to explain role in exploits of AG EFCC chairman. Magu brought to Aso Rock Villa at about 10 yesterday for more grilling. Moving on to another story on the front page of this journal. Impeachment set up panel to probe Ondo Deputy Governor Assembly, tells Chief Judge. Set up panels to probe Ondo Deputy Governor Assembly, tells Chief Judge. All right, on the regulation, federal government never promised to keep fuel price permanently low, says Minister. Federal government never promised to keep fuel price permanently low, says Minister. COVID-19. NDDC taken to task by Senate over 3.14 billion naira palliative for police staff. Okay, on impeachment, set up panel to probe Ondo Deputy Governor. Assembly tells Chief Judge. Set up panel to probe Ondo Deputy Governor. Assembly tells Chief Judge. Buhari signs revised 10.8 trillion naira 2020 budget into law today. Wow, that's a very good development. The President of Nigeria, Muhammadu Buhari, signs revised 10.8 trillion naira 2020 budget into law today. Down the paper, we have other stories here. Boko Haram relocates to Northwest, North Central as bandits, says Defense Headquarters. Boko Haram relocates to Northwest, North Central as bandits, says Defense Headquarters. We are not afraid to confront Lucifer Church of Satan founder, say Abia community residents. We are afraid to confront Lucifer Church of Satan founder, say Abia community residents. Let's quickly join our reviewers for more talks on these stories. I'll be right back.
In 1972, Alade Market was built, a prestigious market to meet varieties of clothing and household items. 34 years later, it was very necessary to rebuild this market. By 2016, the market was demolished. A temporary site was built for the construction of a new Alade shopping complex. Today, we announce the commencement of the construction of the new Alade shopping complex, situated on the same Allen Avenue, Ikeja. It's an 8-block of 42 shops, a total of 336 shops, in a conducive environment, enough car park, and all services attendant. The sizes of the shops are from 12 square meters to 60 square meters, located at the corner piece of Allen Avenue Junction. The ground shop rent goes for 75,000 naira per square meter, while the first floor rent goes for 50,000 naira per square meter. Early subscribers enjoy a 30% discount under the fixed rental income investment, while later subscribers enjoy an instrumental payment payable within 12 months.
Actually, Matthew didn't once more. Actually, there's a saying that those in glass houses should not throw stone. And he that must come to equity must come with clean hands. I'm not trying to prejudice the man Magu. I'm not trying to pronounce him guilty. I think it is good we allow the panel do a diligent work and avail the public of whether they have been able to establish a prima facie case against him or not. Having said that, I still feel it would have been wise and better if this panel have availed the press the privilege of covering the proceedings of this investigation. Because it still called to question our level of transparency and integrity when we handle issues of this manner. I don't know for what purpose you will bar press from covering such a critical issue. Because if you give press the privilege to cover it, we will know who and who is involved, who may have breached the trust reposed in him by virtue of his or her office. But be that as it may, I will give the panel the benefit of doubt to do a diligent work. Like I said in some places, you see, I look at the trajectory of all the occupants of that exalted office. I look at the way they are unceremoniously removed from office. Look at Ribadu, how he was removed. Look at Farida Waziri. I think there was another person. And look at the Magu, the way he's being hounded. Like I told you, I'm not trying to prejudice whether he's corrupt or not. But looking at it, I think it has some level of political inclination. Because look at all the array of, or rather the plethora of allegations, ranging from living above his means, having some properties in Dubai, selling off some tankers that were recovered or seized by the Port Harcourt chapter of the agency, and all of you. These are allegations that have been there from 2016, 2017, when Dr. Bukola Saraki held sway as the chairman, as the leader of the A-Senate. And these were reasons adduced by that A-Senate not to confirm him as substantive chairman for 2 or 3 consecutive times that Mr. President submitted his name. You now begin to ask, what is the different, what is that different thing that the government is now seeing that they didn't see before? Does it mean Saraki and co had classified information more than this government? So what was tying the hand of government, I mean the executive arm of government, from doing the needful then? Could it be that there is a liaison between the late Chief of Staff to Mr. President Abakari and what is happening? Could it be that all the untouchable while he has as the Chief of Staff cannot be touched, hence he's no longer in the saddle? These are pertinent questions that need answer. And we cannot get answers to all these posers until press is given the privilege to have access to the proceeding of that investigation. Now, if actually Magu is corrupt, and if actually the panel have been able to establish, or eventually they are able to establish a prima facie case against him, let him be charged to court and let court take decision. Because it will be worrisome and it will be unacceptable if after all this scenario he is found to be corrupt and perhaps fired and is not charged to court. It will not be heard. But again, they should not subject the man to media trial, because the constitution presumes him innocent until proven otherwise. So at this moment, it is within the realm of allegation. That is why I don't know why in Nigeria we play to the gallery so much. In a sane society, the investigating agencies would have done a diligent work so that by the time they confront you with the allegations, you own up, because the allegation will be so weighty and overwhelming that you cannot deny. Look at Honorable James Ibori of Nigeria, who was discharged and acquitted by a Nigerian court. He went to London and pleaded guilty. What does that tell you? Perhaps he was confronted with allegations that he cannot deny. So I pray by the end of the day we see the end to this in a good manner. I am not comfortable when anti-corruption takes political dimension. Honestly, I'm not comfortable, because I have seen in so many cases where if you are not on the same page with the ruling party, with the government that be, they dust your file. Almost all the past governors may be corrupt. I say this particularly because personally I don't like making blanket of statements, but I say this particularly because I have not seen any governor that have not meddled or that have not dipped hand into the treasury of the local government. You know, the state government have joint account with local governments, and what they do is they go to Abuja through the accountant general of the state, collect all the money, come to the state, reappropriate it, not minding what originally is appropriated to the local government from the federation account. So be that as it may, federal government cannot tell us, we Nigerians, that they are not aware that state governments dabble into local government funds. So who is local government, state governor that the federal government cannot confront? And because if you do not allow the fund of local government to get to the grassroots, we will not see development. And this is government that is closer to the people. So by the time they are staff of fund, we will not see development at that level. So what I'm saying is, I have seen some conscious effort from the presidency to see whether that hegemony can be broken, but the state governors are resisting it. Recently, there was an executive order the president signed into effect that says that if you refuse to release funds for judiciary and legislative arm of the government at the state level, that the accountant general of the federation or the minister of justice have right to remove it from the source before giving you subsequent allocation. But the state governors, in synergy, irrespective of political differences, came together and they had a resolution. As I tell you today, the executive, the federal government have backtracked. It means they have been intimidated. They have a good plan. They had a good plan rather. But the way it stands, they have been intimidated by the monster of State Governors Forum. So what I'm saying is, that is why I say he that must come to equity must come with clean hand. If somebody who is at the helm of affairs of as the president has clean hand, he will not fear, he would step on toes. If you look at the way and manner the thing came out, one will be left with no option to give it a thought. Because ordinarily, like I told you earlier on, these allegations have been there, have endured for years.
For years, and it's coming out now.
And this government is now waking up to that consciousness of it now. But get me right, this is without prejudice to whether he should be prosecuted or not. If he's found wanting, he should go in for it. But I am not comfortable with a situation where you dust people file when you have an issue to settle with them, or when you have a political agenda. Because this may not be unconnected with the power calculation in 2023. And if that is the case, it's not healthy for our democracy. So let the government face anti-corruption headlong, holistically,
not sectionally.
Irrespective of who owns is God. Okay. Anybody that is perceived to be corrupt, let that person be investigated. If a prima facie case has been established against that person, let that person be charged to court. There should not be sacred cow. Enough is enough for this sentimentalism in terms of selective prosecution in this country.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Very good one from you.
Of course, speculation will strive in as much as you don't give people room. I mean, there is not enough transparency in in the discharge of such important duties on the part of the judiciary or the executive. So you will just leave people at suspense, or because once you are not able to carry people along in your dealings, people will be left with no option than to speculate. But be that as it may, it defies reasoning for us to believe that Magu would have done such numerous atrocities without the conspiracy, without, I mean, other hands playing out in this regard. So Magu is an employer of the executive arm of government. So he was employed to do their bidding. President Muhammadu Buhari employed him, irrespective that he was not confirmed yet by the Senate of the 8th Assembly, and he insisted that Magu will man this, commission, of which over time he has been for about 6 years now, and people has been indicting Magu on different occasions, and the Mr. President kept mute. Just at this moment to begin to run around, whatever transpired, the executive should be indicted as well. Why? Because Magu is serving their interests. And I've told you that Magu was called up as a result of insubordination. Meanwhile, that Magu refused to do their bidding. Maybe he decided to break out of the grip, the hold of those cabals, and decided probably to do the right thing. And they said, no, you must continue with our agreement. So that's why they now have to take a pound of flesh from him. And of course, you see, the Nigerian system is very funny. This is not the first time they are instituting a panel of inquiry to investigate such critical issues. And at the end of the day, it will not see the light of the day. They will see it will be swept under the carpet. I remember the Oputa of the Oputa panel, a very reputable panel that came up with their investigation. They came out with, their recommendation. Up till now, those people that were indicted by Okuta panel, are still walking free in the streets of Abuja. You see, nobody has called them to order. You see, that is the level of sentiment being played. It will be politicized. So, this Ayo Salami panel is not, for me, it's nothing to write home about, because at the end of the day, it will be swept under the carpet. It is more or less a kind of a tactic in order to distract Nigerians from asking fundamental questions that borders on governance. You see, they know they have nothing to offer, rather to create some sirenos cases that will distract the attention of Nigerian people from asking the fundamental questions. For me, you can't distract my attention, because I know that it is just an effort in futility. It is not going to yield anything good. It will not define. Of course, our judicial system has been bastardized, so you don't expect justice. And besides, most of those people, prosecuting him have been indicted at one time or the other. So who is there to condemn him? Who is there to name him? Why you are part of the proceeds of those crimes? You see, Magu wouldn't have done all these things alone, single-handedly. So there are people at the border, there are customs, there are militaries and security officers and people in different ministries and parastatals that aided him to, even in the central bank and others. So if really Nigeria want to do the bidding, I mean, want to investigate and bring the culprits to book, many heads will roll. And those heads will not watch such thing happens to them. That's why I tell you that they will soon silence this thing. Most panel has been constituted. They come out with fast. Look at the proving of about 16 billion of NEPA power generation. At the end of the day, it was silence and nobody heard about it. Of course, there are bound so many of this nature, which at the end of the day did not see the light of the day. It's just an effort in futility, wasting of our hard-earned resources. That is just what I have to say.
And I thank our viewers who have been interested in our fat fundings. I thank God for all of them. Now, coming to Magu issue. If you look at Magu issue is a head that when you cut, so many other heads will roll. Now, Magu issue is like person who throw ball on the wall. The ball bounces back to him. That's what Magu is suffering. And if you watch, since Magu was appointed as chairman of EFCC, it's not confirmed. It's like person you employed without appointment letter given to him. That's how Magu position and the job he's doing to his masters look like. They appoint him without giving him appointment letter. So they can sack him at any time, push him at any time without benefit. Now, but Magu did not realize himself. He continued working, and you will see that the problem here is after the death of the late chief of staff, Abakari. After his death, that this thing come up, they start sinking, looking for Magu, which means they are looking for a trap to get Magu. People who don't want him to be confirmed, people who have stepped on their toe, they are looking for a trap to get Magu disgraced or pushed out. But it seemed that the chief of staff, the late chief of staff, was his backbone, covering him up. Then after the exit of the chief of staff, the late chief of staff, they come up, say, now we have opportunity to deal with you. This thing also start rising up. And if the executive or the presidency continue with Magu and allow people to hear the truth, you will know that all of them are corrupt. Now, this present government are not fighting the corruption. What they do is witch hunting. If you fail to be with them, they will be against you. Unless you are with them, before they will not be against you. Now, if you watch what was going on, Magu, the problem he's facing now, along the line, I suspect he refused to compromise. Or they feel that this guy is overgrowing in power. They have to cut the tail a bit. At the end, Magu may not be jail. At the end, Magu will still go free. May go free. At the end, all his granted and right will be given to him. But they tell him, back aside. Now, what the present government is trying to do is to use Magu as a scapegoat to prove to the world they are out for corruption, to fight corruption. What is the cover up? Now, as my colleague said, Mr. Chigozie, they want to use this case to distract Nigerians away from their bad governance. They are not able to deliver. Now, they want to use this opportunity to gain the heart of Nigerians that their government, present government of APC is functioning, is trying to bring up, is trying to come up, so that they can be able to win the elections that are ahead coming. And that's what I'm saying. It's part of the cover up. But they are not fighting. If they want to fight, as my colleague said, Mr. Matthew, let them throw it open. Let the pressmen come and cover up and show us what was happening, the real funding. If they want it to be, they should go back and work like a PDP. You know, when Bode George saying it was a PDP member, a very strong member of PDP. PDP bring it openly and jail him. Tafa Balogu, former Inspector General of Police. PDP bring him up, Oda Obasanjo, jail him, everything open. Alamesia Bayelsa, PDP open it up, exposed, everybody heard what happened. They tear him up. Even Ibori of PDP, the cross eye, was jailed in London. Everything, they expose it. That's a government of transparency. At least PDP, Obasanjo to Jonathan, they try to fight, or they fight, but they didn't finish up. Even Jonathan regime fight corruption in the fertilizer, agricultural sector, and bring it to stand still. That's why agriculture boomed in Jonathan's time. In Jonathan's time, he tried. Jonathan's time introduced single account to stop double account of federation where they're looting money. But it's unfortunately he did not implement it before he hand over. So if this present government want to be really, let them expose. If they expose, not only Magu will go. Even in a tribune now, it's on tribune caption that Vice President Osibanjo wrote to the IGP, Inspector Police of General, concerning the link him with the Magu case. It may be right, or it may be true, or it may be false. I don't know. But let them expose everything. 4 billion naira. Whether it's true or false, I don't know. But if his name can be mentioned. If they throw it open, so many people's name can be mentioned. But it not be so. They will take you to play politics. At the end, everything will cool down. Because the president himself is corrupt. The president himself is corrupt. Let me tell you. He was a member, Minister of Petroleum, Obasanjo regime. $2.5 billion naira. Military era, yes. When dollar was 75 kobo to $1. Up to now, no way, no account of that money. PTF, up to now, no way account of that money. There was so many things. So if the presidency or president or whosoever want to go in, you will see that they are there. You cannot tell me that Magu collected those money without the consent of some certain people in power. There's some consent, some certain people in power. There's the link. Okay. Last time we saw it on paper. 7 vessels loaded of crude oil shipping out under Magu. How can he go there and load the vessel without connections? People will connect it. NPC, Nigerian Petroleum Corporation, their boss, all of them will be in charge, will be involved. On general, investigate. Let them go underground. To it. More with him. Central Bank may be involved. The money he sent away, is it not to Central Bank? Okay, if the Central Bank is not away, the security people in agent, in border, in airport, supposed to search him. If he carried raw cash to go away. The house he buy in Dubai, I heard. How did you manage to buy Dubai? Even in Abuja. Okay, since access is sold out, who bought it? Is it not them? All of them in the same caucus. Let them investigate, but let them throw it open, not hidden. Thank God.
On this note, we say goodbye to you on today's edition of this program. Make sure you endeavor to see us next time on the same channel. Michael Adekunle still remains my name. The man behind the camera is Festus Oluwabukunmi. Facebook, Michael Temitayo Adekunle, and on Instagram, Adekunle Michael Temitayo. Have a good day, everyone.
Audio Jungle.